Sorry. Hey everybody, welcome to AfterBuzz TV. Tonight we're talking Prison Break. And tonight on the episode, Michael and Sarah get reunited, Misa. Michael and Sucre get reunited, Misu. And tonight, live in studio, we have executive producer and writer Vaughn Wilmot joining us live. Stick around.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
An emotional way to start tonight, guys. Excellent choice, Vaughn.
Great choice.
Let's just let this sit in for a second. I hope we climb stairs with you tonight, Vaughn.
We will.
Welcome, everybody, to the Prison Break panel here at AfterBuzz TV. Let me go quick and just say my name, Daniel Lindgren. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at @TheDanLindgren.
And I'm MJ, and you can follow me on Instagram at MJ That Media Girl. Girl, what are you?
Yes, guys, another exciting show. I'm literally about to bounce out of my seat.
Don't do that.
It's Miss Candy Marie, and you can find me on Instagram at Miss Candy Marie and on Twitter at Sweet Candora TV.
And I'm Vaughn Wilmot, executive producer and writer on Prison Break.
Where can they follow you, Vaughn?
They can follow me on @VaughnWilmot on Twitter, and I'm not on anything else.
Don't worry, Vaughn. We're not.
the one.
Don't worry about it, Vaughn. We won't tell anybody. We won't tell anybody. This season, Vaughn, a lot of twists and turns happening, and I was wondering what your favorite moment so far was, and what your favorite moment so far was that you got a big part in writing. So, like, two questions there.
You know, I think that God, there's so many.
I
would say the brothers hugging at the end of I think episode 4.
Sure. Yeah.
That's a big moment that I loved. I also loved him hugging. It's all about hugging for me.
Yeah.
But I
A
loved
lot of
him the ending of I think episode 3 when he basically said when Abermal comes out and he basically is like, are we getting out? And he's like, tomorrow night. And you think he's bad.
You think he's bad? Oh yeah, that was a great shot. Yeah.
In terms of me, what I wrote, it has to be in this episode, I would say,
Awesome.
with just the reunion between Sarah and Michael.
So that's what I heard. You wrote that both those scenes with Sarah and Michael. That was all you.
Yeah.
Is what I was told.
I wrote this episode, yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
It
Wow.
was action filled. It was definitely action filled.
There was a lot going on.
It really
Now,
was.
when
was a big
you
episode.
when you write an episode like this, you write the whole thing by yourself, and then you collaborate after, or how does that work?
Well, the creator of the show, Paul Shearing,
Right.
he wrote, for this season, he wrote a really detailed 80-page Bible, basically. And the first, 4 or 5 episodes were really, really clearly delineated and were there. And then me, him, and a gentleman named Michael Horowitz, who's another executive producer on the show, we kind of pounded out those episodes, did the outlines, and then we went out and wrote them separately. So a lot of the goodies were in there already in the Bible. Paul really did a good job of pounding out the stuff. But there was a lot of invention that had to happen, and then you go off and you write it, and you tweak it, and you get it ready for production, and then you go.
Man, it's crazy. It's just I think it's great. Who's your favorite character to write for, real quick, before we get into the episode?
God, Teabag's a lot of
I
fun.
knew that's what I thought you were gonna say. And
Teabag's a lot
just
of
so you
fun.
know, Theodore Bagwell is how we have to refer to him on the show,
Theodore
because
Bagwell.
Candy only
Yes.
likes to refer to him as Theodore Bagwell from now on.
You know what?
I get it.
This
because
is-
he's a gentleman this season, according to
get
Candy.
it.
You know what? This is a very, very special moment for me because I get to shake the man's hand that helped bring
Oh, wow.
Theodore Bagwell to life. So
That's you,
if we
Vaughn.
could just
In
take
case
a
you didn't
moment
know,
of silence
she's talking about you,
to
Vaughn.
thank this amazing man right here. Thank you. I'm one step closer to meeting Mr. Theodore Bagwell. I can feel it. I can feel his energy bouncing off of
He's
Mr. Vaughn
amazing.
right now.
There
He's
you go.
amazing. Robert the guy is amazing. And when you do a scene with him, he literally does 5 takes, but they're all totally different.
Oh,
He
Wow.
gives
That's
you,
the best. Yeah.
He's one of those guys that lives in the moment, and he's always trying new things, doing a line differently, adding a line.
I love it.
He's a really organic, natural actor. He's just
love it.
amazing to watch.
I love it. So I have to ask you, why did you decide to make him good this season? Like, I'm not complaining, but
Is he good?
Right.
well,
He's as good as he can be.
Exactly.
I think Paul's idea was that, we had already seen him be the bad guy, and he wanted to make sure that 7 years had passed and that all these people had grown and changed and become something new. And that was basically for T-Bag, we wanted him to be different. We wanted him to be someone who's evolved through these 7 years, as they all did. And Paul came up with the idea that he was kind of moving towards the light. He believed that he had cleansed himself, and he was, trying to be a better man, and destiny had his hooks in him, and it worked. I think it was there's 2 more episodes?
2 more left, yep.
We show in the next 2 episodes a really big kind of arc for him.
I can't. Oh my god! I
The
feel
next 2
like
episodes are big for him.
and just in general, I feel like there's gonna be so much jammed into these next 2 episodes because
Yeah.
tonight there was so much
Wow.
happening.
I know.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
Yeah.
did you guys give him? So he has the fake hand, obviously, that he's been dealing with or whatever. And then in this episode, you gave him a fake hand, but it's much more. It's just his hand at this point. Was that done on purpose because he just didn't want to have to do the prosthetic thing, or
A little bit.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking in my head. Is that why? Because it's really
was a
just his
little
hand
bit.
are there now, but it's obviously still
Yeah,
fake.
basically.
I just thought it was
he
interesting.
wears, I think it was like a green glove, and so it allowed us to just put
Green
the
screen
VFX
it.
right on top.
Wow.
So cool.
Oh,
Very
okay.
smart.
Yeah,
Very
but
smart.
it did allow him to not have to worry about.
And having a writer on here, we get to hear that
I
behind
love
the scenes
this.
stuff.
This is
one,
great.
One more thing about Jacob, I've had this question with these ladies earlier. His last name is Ness.
Yeah.
Like the Loch Ness monster.
Yeah.
Water. He's also Poseidon. Water. Was that done on purpose by the writers, or was that just coincidence? No. It wasn't.
Ness was an available name.
Really?
He was originally called something else. What was he called? Jacob, and we couldn't get it. We couldn't clear it.
You had to clear
So
his
it
last
was-
name. Why
yeah.
did you have to clear? Why? What was the other
Whenever
thing?
you use a character name, you have to basically research and make sure that there's not
A
someone
real person?
living with that name in the area that you're basically filming the show. Wow. There was some kind of a lawsuit that happened a few years ago where a writer used the name of, I think, a real estate agent she just knew from her basically growing up,
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
and the character was really evil in the show.
And then that real
And there
estate
was a
agent lost all her
lawsuit,
business.
and so now they're even more careful in terms of clearing all the names and making sure that it is a fantasy character.
That's so interesting. MJ?
I didn't know that. I might need to Google if somebody playing my name.
That's right. Check it out.
Well, MJ, Michael Jordan, there's a lot of people with MJ in general, so you got to watch out for that.
There is.
This
All right.
is true.
You guys want to get into the episode?
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
get into the episode.
Jacob is Poseidon.
Jacob
course.
is Poseidon.
Come on. All right, so
course.
we've been talking for weeks. We all saw this coming. I'm sure all the fans at home saw this
Wow.
coming as well.
Yeah, we did.
But we finally got the reveal. And I want to know what you guys think. That we're happy that we got the reveal at least, right?
We
Finally.
already knew though. Everybody.
But it's
knew.
nice that we know
Yes.
now
Yes,
versus
yes, for
not.
sure.
Sure, we can move on with the next story. We can
Yes.
get the evil part out. We doesn't have to hide it anymore. We're just gonna-
Absolutely. We can finally move on. But one of the things that I have to commend you on is I have to commend you on the way that you guys put these episodes together, because you give us like these trail of clues throughout the whole entire season. If you don't pay attention, you will miss it.
Yeah.
So I think slowly but surely we got to see that he was Poseidon. But then as soon as we thought, okay, this guy is Poseidon, you would throw a wrench at us and
Yeah.
it would throw us completely off course. And we'd be thinking, okay, well, maybe this guy really isn't Poseidon. So I have to commend you. You guys did a really, really good job with that. Now, little Michael.
What about him?
Little Michael. Now, there were a few times throughout the season where I was nervous that you guys were going to do something to little Michael. Why is it that you didn't really explore that route more often?
I think the show wasn't really about child in jeopardy. Now as we progress to the last couple episodes, all the tension gets cranked up on all the characters.
Right.
Yeah.
But just in terms of, there was so little real estate for so many characters.
Right.
And so it became really important to who can we service, who do we need to service. Michael needs to have a big arc and a big story.
Right.
Lincoln needs it, Sarah needs it. So you really don't have the time in 9 episodes to
Okay.
really break out everybody, but he certainly is an emotional touchstone
Right.
for
Yeah.
the show and for the season and for Michael and for Sarah. He really is such an important character just in terms of tying again together the kind of themes of family.
Right.
And it's funny, on the surprises, we talked a lot about the 5th episode, which was, will they buy it? Like, because do you remember what we did, which was Sarah had him. She had the
Yes.
picture about Jacob.
Yeah.
And we talked a lot about, can we get them by the end of the episode to come back around to, oh, maybe it's not. Maybe he's not.
Right.
So then we had A&W and Van Gogh in the prison. You know, they
Yeah.
were captured. And
Right.
she's identifying them. And so we were never sure if that would be quite enough. But also, you know, Fox, the marketing, let out some of the stuff too.
Right.
Really?
In some of the trailers. And not that they revealed any huge secrets, but they did enough to where people were like,
Make you
is he
think
still?
twice.
Yeah. So, but we did talk a lot about that. Like, can we pull this off?
Because I thought to myself, like, this is the character that means the most to everyone, and he's with Poseidon the most.
Yeah.
So why not hit them where it hurts the most?
Yeah,
And that's
yeah.
what I thought to myself. Okay, well,
I think they are now for these last 2
Now
episodes.
they're
Well,
starting to do
it really,
that. Right.
you know, we'll see what comes because
Right.
it gets really hairy now.
But my
Oh my
question was,
goodness.
if Sarah had any thoughts that Jacob was Poseidon before this episode, or even during this episode, when she went to Crete, to Greece, why would she leave Mike with Jacob? So he didn't know? Or why didn't she just give him to her friend Heather, right? Heather
Because
had...
That's-
she wasn't
She was
100%
torn.
sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
But
that if
just in
he
case,
was.
right? Like, why even
I was
keep him there if
thinking
you're
that
not
too,
100%?
but She wasn't 100%.
Vaughn, you were going to say something, though?
That was a thing that we talked about a lot too,
Okay.
which was would she leave him? And we really came to the conclusion like that she did buy it enough. And then also, and remember, she had been with him for 4 or 5 years, and the man had been nothing but wonderful to the son.
Yeah.
So there was a certain amount of, you know, she just went with it because she was also flustered, like rushing off to save
Right.
Michael's life. So we talked about that a lot too. Like, would she? And we just came to the conclusion like she did buy it. She did buy his, you know,
his charm.
his charm, but also you know episode 5 where he kind of put it to bed and he captured the crooks and
Right.
we saw him being a good guy. And I
Yeah.
think even though she had little doubts, she bought it enough.
Yeah, but see, we as the viewer, we don't see those 4 good years that they had
Yes.
together. So of course, the
Exactly.
entire time we're watching, we're like, all right, when are Michael and Sarah
Yeah.
gonna get together? And Jacob's got to be
Yeah.
bad or not
Because
good
he's
or
just
whatever.
too
Something's
good
got to
to
be a flaw in
true.
Jacob.
Yeah,
you know?
he's just too good to be true.
Right.
Now,
Yeah.
I do want to extend this offer out to our live chatters right now that if you have
Very
a
nice.
question for Mr. Wilmot, to let us know right now, drop the question in the live chat and we'll make sure that it gets answered before the show ends today.
My question is when they grabbed Lil Mike while he was playing outside, at first I thought it was going to be T-Bag that grabbed him, but they didn't show who grabbed him.
Yeah, you don't see who grabs him. You just
so
see him.
are we going to find that out? Because I'm still trying to figure out who grabbed him.
Oh yeah.
He
Well,
was
that was.
outside.
I
yeah,
assume
that was actually a dream.
Oh.
That was actually a dream.
I didn't even get
Because remember, Michael wakes up
Oh,
right
yeah,
after
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That was
Because
quick too. You
remember-
can miss
it. Was
if
quick. And remember when we saw him basically haunting them, like following them around at the
Following them
zoo,
around.
following them around. So he knows what the child looks like roughly.
Yeah.
So and he's so focused at that moment, he's dying, he's delirious or whatever.
much going
It's a
on.
dream.
So when he was following them all those years, how he never saw Jacob around?
Say that one more time.
Oh yeah.
When he was following
Yeah,
Sarah and
Yeah.
Mike, why
Oh.
he never saw Jacob?
Because he basically only did it a few times. He didn't do it. It wasn't like he was trailing her. He was usually out of the country or in another jail or breaking someone out or.
Right. What I think is the craziest is that Michael's never seen what his son even looks like, right? And
Yeah.
because in the episode tonight he says, "Can I see a picture of my son?" And I'm like,
Right.
"Oh wait," I'm thinking
Because-
he doesn't even know what he looks like.
Well, the
Yeah.
last
That's
time we
nuts.
saw him, he was just a baby.
Right.
So
right.
that's the
So he has
only-
seen
Yeah.
it, but not
Right.
as.
Yeah, it's what he imagines basically. It's his fear manifest. Yeah.
And then imagine scrolling through your I guess your wife or whatever you want to call Sarah and Michael at this point, and then you see your not only the ex, but the fact that it's
That
the son.
dude.
That's, I was like, oh, I bet Vaughn
was
came up
great.
with that one.
That was great.
That-
And the way Wentworth played that was fantastic.
so good.
Yeah.
Sitting up and I mean he really
it was so
sold
realistic. It was so realistic.
was.
That's
He
something
really
that can
hit
really
it.
happen.
Yeah. Now, as a writer for the show, you're traveling to all the different locations and stuff as well. For
Yeah,
all
I
the
was
shoots,
there
yeah?
for all that.
Man,
Yeah, I
so
was in
cool.
the room for all those scenes, and they
Wow.
were and that
Isn't that
set,
great?
that
So good.
Greek apartment was the most amazing set.
Where'd you guys actually film
Really?
that?
That was in Vancouver,
Vancouver. Okay.
and
yeah.
the set was just beautiful. I mean, it literally looked like a little villa in
Wow.
Greece.
Wow.
Wow.
I gotta
Man, I'm
you
in
go
awe
ahead,
right.
go
Listen,
ahead.
I'm in awe right now, and I usually have so much to say, but just to be sitting next to the executive producer of this phenomenal show,
thank you.
Like, I have so many notes, but I don't even know where to
It-
start.
it's all
like
jumbled.
there's so many questions.
I got some stuff about Sucre I have to ask you about.
Yeah.
How come he's only in 2 episodes so far?
That was one of those tough calls.
I know, and a lot of the fans are saying the same thing, and I'm
know.
sure you're hearing about it on Twitter. You're a big Twitter guy.
Totally.
You're all over Twitter. I see
am
your
a Twitter guy.
posts. I
Yeah.
see your posts.
You know, he is a beloved character.
He is.
a fantastic character, and he is a great guy, the actor himself.
Amari, yeah.
Amari is so great, and we would have loved to have him in more, but there literally wasn't. It's like you jam him in, and he gets no real arc, and then he's like hanging out, and he's too good of a character.
You want him to
do
be
that.
around. You want to get
Yeah.
him around. Yeah.
And
I feel
so
you.
the choice was, we'll use him when we can and have him be an important part of the story, but we didn't have the time to kind of build out.
Well, I don't know. You
full-
probably can't tell us, but it looks like he's going to be in these next 2 episodes.
Yeah, he's around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We're excited.
But
now.
he was a hard one to not use
Right.
because he's so good.
Right.
Now, speaking of characters, last week we had on the amazing Miss Marina Benedict
She's great.
in
Sure
studio
did.
with us last week, and we absolutely love her character, even though she's a badass,
Yeah.
and she's the antagonist this season. One of the things that she explained to us was that she thinks that she's working for the greater good, even though we see her in a completely different element.
Yeah.
You know, okay, what is that moment? First of all, is she going to find out that she's really on the bad side? And when she does, what can we expect in that moment? You know, will she retaliate against Poseidon? You know, will she join forces with Michael? Or is she going to find out that she's really not working for?
I mean,
for the
can he
greater
tell
good?
us this though? Is that
Can
going to
you
get too
tell
much
us
away?
this?
Not really.
Can he?
But what I
trying to get it out
can
of you,
say
Vaughn?
is I love that you have that question in your mind because
Yes.
we wanted to really give them the two of them, A&W and Van Gogh, a story that is in that zone
Mm-hmm.
because it's an important part of their journey, which is they start out thinking they're doing it for, basically for patriotic reasons.
Yeah.
And then as they go on, especially Van Gogh, the man, the actor, he begins to, remember when
Question things.
Kellerman
Kellerman.
says, a
It's
lie
been stuck
has
with
to
him
kill
ever
the
since
truth.
then.
And that great line, it is a part of the journey for them, and so I'm glad that you kind of caught that because that's really what we were going for, and we'll see how it plays out.
I can't wait to see how that plans
She
out.
thinks AW is gonna kill her partner.
I feel it because the thing is that the thing,
Oh, again, Vaughn can't tell us anything.
My lips are sealed.
The thing that I love about her, she's so focused on the mission. You know,
Yeah.
let's not go off course. Let's stay focused on the mission. And I love that about her. And because he could potentially steer them off course because he's asking questions, he then becomes a threat, which is a problem. So if anybody stands in the way, she's going to take them out. I don't care
Yeah.
who you are. I don't care what you do. I'm going to take you out. And that's her character. So I think it's going to be really interesting, hopefully, to see them bump heads and what that would look like because that would be a pretty badass fight.
Yeah.
I just don't think you guys. I
Yeah.
just, again, see these great answers we're
yeah.
getting. I don't think you guys are going to be able to sum this all up in the next 2 episodes. So I'm predicting season 6. All right, have you started writing it yet?
There's no real plans for season 6.
All
I
right.
think that the studio and the network were really happy with the season, and
Yeah.
I think it's done really well. But one of the difficulties of the show is that all the actors are on all other shows.
They're doing their thing.
Mm.
And so they're all, basically beholden to other networks, other studios, and those studios have contracts with them and time limits. So putting this season together was it was really a jigsaw puzzle that was really difficult to pull
Yeah.
off. We originally were going to do 10 episodes, and we could only do 9 because of the...
So that's why you're
Schedule.
only
So
able
that's
to
why
do
it's a
9.
shorter
That's right.
episode
So-
per
Yeah.
season.
Not that Fox wouldn't have the will to do it again because it's a big hit and it did really well all over the world. It's a matter of can you get all those pieces back together again in a window of time that
Vaughn,
Yes.
I'm getting
We're
nervous here,
hoping
Vaughn.
so.
Vaughn, I'm getting
No,
really nervous.
but-
Vaughn,
but-
what are you
Hoping
telling me
so.
right now, Vaughn? Are you telling
we'll
me?
see. We'll see.
I'm hoping so.
I think if Wentworth and Dominic want to do another season, I think that they can get
Well,
it
the
ready.
good news is they do want to,
There we go.
and they all
love
want
it.
to.
And I think all the fans
I
at home are
love
going to
it.
love to hear
Yeah.
you just say
And they
that.
all want to. Robert wants to. Amare wants to. Sarah wants to. They all want to.
And speaking of the fans at home, we've got a lot of fans here in the live chat. They've got tons of questions. So let's see. We've got Ivan. Ivan is back with us again for another week. Steven's back. Great to see you, Steven. So, okay, Ivan wants to know. He says, Marina, I'm fine with you killing Kushida.
That's weird for him to say, but okay.
Ivan said he's happy with that, which actually kind of threw us for a loop because there was actually a point in time where we thought that Kushida could have potentially been Poseidon.
Yeah.
So that was like, wow, like. Actually, he's not Poseidon. He's not even working for.
Kushida was such an interesting character that you guys kind of threw in there for us because when you see a new character, you think, oh, well, he's not just there for no reason, but
Yeah.
he really didn't have a long-lasting run at all.
Right?
No, again,
What was the
it's real estate.
Yeah.
But it was very important to give us, have red herrings here and there that we could
Throw
pull
us
focus
off.
away from
Yeah.
Jacob because as charming as Mark is, you just go to him, right? You just think that dude is the problem.
right. That's gotta be him.
And so we had to constantly, like Kushida gets, and then the Kellerman is, what's he doing?
Yeah, and let me ask you about Kellerman.
I was just about to exit.
He's still in the opening credits. His name is still there, even though he's dead. And I've noticed in past episodes when Bellix died and other characters have died,
They're gone.
they've been removed out of the credits.
Yeah.
So he's still alive, right?
We'll see. We didn't see the final bullet go in. So
See,
we don't know.
I like that because that's something I noticed. And
You never
MJ,
know.
yeah, MJ. I know MJ wants
I
Kellerman
love
to be
the
alive too.
suspense. I
You
love
never
the
know.
suspense.
Oh, I
kinda think
love
he's alive.
Paul is so good.
It's great. He's
Kellerman
great.
is so good.
I feel like he's gonna
Awesome.
come on the season finale.
You think
I
he's
feel
gonna?
like he's not gonna
I
see
definitely
it.
think Kellerman's still
He's
alive.
gonna limp
so.
in.
He's gonna limp in. Something's gonna happen.
Something gonna
Oh, I've been shot.
Mark is definitely not
You
gonna
know
come
what?
back though. So
What's
Mark,
interesting-
sorry, he's a great guy, I'm sure, but Mark's not coming back.
What if Kellerman was the person that Jacob called for the ask?
Ooh, because we don't know. I did
You
write
don't
that
know.
down. Who
'Cause
did
we
Jacob
don't know.
call?
Who is this guy?
Who
Who is
is
this
that
other
guy?
person that he can ask for a favor for? Who has
Does,
the clout?
We never found out what
The
Elvis.
old bald white guy from those previous seasons. Why can't I think of his name right now?
The company guy?
Company guy. The
was that guy's
leader,
name?
whatever his name was.
Yeah.
Maybe that's who Jacob called. Just throwing it out there. I don't know
You
if they
never
want to bring
know.
him back, but
I
you
don't
know.
know. What? We never found out the information about Elvis.
Oh yeah, Fat Elvis.
What was the purpose?
Oh.
Are we gonna see him again or?
yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh. You can't
Elvis-
put a Fat Elvis, in
Elvis
without seeing
hasn't
him
left
twice.
the building.
Yeah.
We never
Rub me
heard
tender,
anything
all right.
back about him.
I love it. So
That
we-
guy really is so good. I totally bought the
we
whole
wanted
Elvis
to see
thing.
more of him. I thought
Yeah.
he'd be
I
back
know,
this episode, but
yeah,
then all of
I-
a sudden they weren't in Portland, Maine. They're just back in Syracuse, A&W
I
and
think
Van
you'll
Gogh.
be surprised as to what Elvis has to do with the whole story.
Oh my god.
Maybe that's who Jacob called. He could have called Fat Elvis.
It is funny. We have Elvis. We have the Queen thing. We do have a lot of old rock going on.
Yeah.
Does Fat Elvis have a name yet? Are we just gonna call
No,
him Fat
I think
Elvis?
we just called him Elvis.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
He wasn't that fat. He was kind of a svelte Elvis.
You thought he was? Yeah. He was doing
compared to the
punches.
real Elvis.
No, of course,
At the end.
So, Vaughn, the fans want to know: have you been a part of the Prison Break series since the inception of the show?
No, I actually was not involved in the original 4 seasons.
Wow.
And
okay.
Paul, the creator, he did the first 2 seasons, and then he moved on. I think he was writing features and doing stuff like that. And then a gentleman by the name of Matt Olmstead ran it for 3 and 4.
So what made you want to be a part of this show?
When this came out in 2005, I was kind of, I'd been writing for about a year or 2, but what I was doing is someone had told me, read every pilot that was sold every season. Every single one. Doesn't matter if it gets made or not, read every single one because you will learn more in that process than anything else. And it was literally like 75 pilots a year that I was reading, and I was doing that like every year. And Prison Break in 2004 was in that group of like 75 or 80 scripts. And I remember very clearly that it was hands down the best. Like it
Wow.
was so clearly the best pilot of all those pilots.
Yeah.
And that really stuck with me. And then when the show came out, I was a fan of the first season and the second season. And so when the opportunity came and my agent called and said, do you like Prison Break? I was like, I love Prison Break.
That's awesome.
But that's kind of, that was so clearly in my mind that script was so good.
I love it. And you know what? You led us on so many different wild goose chases, and one of them I know for me, as well as maybe a few other fans, we all wanted to know when was Michael and Sarah gonna finally reunite,
Yeah.
and that was one of the things that you decided to do in this episode.
Yeah.
Why this episode?
It's kind of how it broke out for the season. You couldn't do it too soon, and you couldn't do it too late. You needed some time. So it kind of just worked out like that. It's funny that the 2 episodes that I ended up writing were kind of the reunion episodes, because 5 is really all about the brothers, kind of where have you been, how are you alive,
Yeah.
and then this one. So I think it's just the way it broke out, because you needed to spend that time, him in the prison, him breaking out of the country, but it was always, the focus was always going to be on him getting back to his wife and son. That was always his, because I'm sure you guys have seen it in the articles that have been written about the show, is that it's based on the Odyssey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's basically Odysseus trying to get back to his wife and family, and
Right.
going through having the god Poseidon try to stop him. The Cyclops is one of the monsters he encounters. So it was very much based on
Wow.
that.
Now, as a writer on the show, there must be a lot of stuff that's cut out. Was there anything like really interesting that was cut out from tonight's episode that could have been cool to, kind of some behind the scenes stuff, that like a nice scene or something or anything like that?
Yeah, there was a few things that we didn't have time for. Some really nice moments with the friends. So when Sucre,
Was Sucre playing at the card game at that table?
that and some funny stuff at the storage container that's got the
With
sex dolls,
the inflatables,
the inflatables.
inflatables, yeah.
There was some funny interactions that we just didn't have
Yeah.
time for. But they were, the guys have all got such great chemistry.
I know.
You
And-
really-
and,
they
and
are
people wanted to
friends.
see that even just as much as they want to see the Michael and Sarah. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, Michael and Sucre, we want to see
Yeah.
them because
We did get some nice stuff in there. I mean, I love them like meeting and hugging. There's hugging again.
Yeah.
I love the hugging.
Love the hugging.
you write that in there
That's
perfectly. You're like,
that's
we need
my
hugging.
thing. But it was really, there was some nice moments. But it was pretty much we were able to get in what we got, and we got some
Yeah.
great stuff.
No, you guys did.
And I want to say I'm over here dropping my my cup because I'm so excited because we've got such a live chat, and Marina is actually joining us on the live chat right now. She said Vaughn is such a class act. He took such good care of us all. Thank you
that's
so
so
much for
sweet.
joining us again,
Thanks,
Marina.
Marina.
Yes, okay, and we've got a lot of questions as well. This is from Ro Ramira Kalina. She wants to know, what did you do to write these characters, and did you watch the old seasons? And she said, greetings from Venezuela.
Greetings. Wow. I did. I watched all 4 seasons. I had already originally watched the first 2, but I went back, watched them, and we also spent a lot of time. We put together, the writer's assistants and our script coordinator. They basically put together almost like a Bible of, the beats, the major turns, and all the story arcs. And I do love writing stories about brothers. And so for me, it was kind of a comfortable place to write. I mean, I just love, for me, that theme of like, what are you willing to do for your loved ones? How far will you go? That bond is something that I love to write about. So it was
So,
easy.
are you insinuating that we might be looking forward to something about brothers in the future?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Ah.
There's always, the brothers are such a central focus of the show and the story, the mythology, and that brotherly bond is, and the two of them are so good together.
They are.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
are.
The
They
chemistry.
definitely are.
Now I have like a thought of how they came, because they kind of decided they wanted to do a 5th
Yeah.
season, right?
Yeah.
That was when they were working on a CW show, correct?
Yeah. They were
we
doing
talked a little
Legend-
bit about it, but yeah.
They were doing
go ahead.
Legends of Tomorrow, and I don't watch it, but one's Mr. Freeze and one's Mr. Fire
yeah.
Guy.
the Fire Guy and Captain
Uh,
Cold.
But
is
I
what
don't know
I
if they're
think.
brothers on that
Well,
show.
on Flash, they are brothers,
Oh, okay.
and they're both was on there, and T-Bag was on there before as well as a villain.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Jeez, they're
I've
all
been
there.
big
Robert
watching
just
it.
shows up everywhere.
everywhere. You don't even know Robert.
He's about to be in Twin Peaks. I mean, that guy is everywhere. So they kind of, I'm not sure if they had kept, they've always been close friends, but that was the first time I think they had worked together again.
Yeah.
And so they got together, and I think they were on set, and they just started talking about it, like, wouldn't it be great if, we did this again, we could do this
Yeah.
again. And they really, really wanted to get the creator back, which is Paul. And once they kind of pulled that off, and they had Paul on board, then it was,
Yeah.
It was a go.
going.
When they wrote the original 4, though, in theory, Michael definitely died at the end, and then when they did the remake, they were like, okay, how do we work this in because we need to have Michael back.
Yeah,
I mean, I assume that's how they would have to do it, right?
Definitely in the original show, he's dead.
Yeah.
No doubt about
No
it.
doubt, right, yeah.
But in terms of recreating the show, you gotta, there's
Think of
no,
something. You
there's
gotta-
nothing without
when I first
him.
watched it, I didn't think he was dead. I did not
Yeah.
believe he was dead.
Really?
When you watched season 4 originally.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
that's
didn't think he was
interesting.
dead.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that they didn't have. You don't see it.
Yeah, you
So
don't
it is interesting. It's almost like it gave us a little bit of an
Hope.
entrance. Yeah, a
He
little.
gave me hope. That there's no-
But I think their intention though was that he
Yeah.
was dead.
Right.
Wow.
But I think for Paul, it was about figuring out what's a believable, great way that we can do it that makes sense, and that it's Steve TV, right? People come back, but
Yeah.
we wanted it to be as believable as
Yeah.
possible.
Especially with him breaking people out of prisons, like that's what he's been doing.
Yeah,
That was a good. I like the way they tied that in.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
That was Paul's idea, and I loved. It's such a part of the character and the mythology. That kind of, he's that guy. He's super smart. He's always thinking the angles, and it really made sense to me that someone would see that and use it.
Right. And we were
To
given that
do-
entire backstory tonight between him and Jacob.
Yeah,
But you guys
yeah.
gave us everything tonight. That was all
Yeah.
done on purpose. Like, let's give it all to him at once.
Well, we started it in 5. So when Lincoln's saying, "How are you alive?" in that little room,
Yeah.
he does talk about it there. But then we completed the information in 7.
Right.
Confirm who Poseidon.
Because I thought you were just throwing
Yeah.
bullet points at us tonight, like
Yeah.
for all the things with him and Jacob. I thought that was very
Well, we
interesting.
were trying to, and also get in the kind of like how he had him.
Right.
How
Because
he was.
because I mean, he
how
had
his
no
hooks in
choice.
him.
Like there was nothing he couldn't
Yeah.
get out of it, and he couldn't because
Yeah.
Lincoln, Sarah, and Mike
Yeah.
would have been
Right.
Yeah.
done, and that's not good.
And that again ties into the whole theme of Prison Break, which is family and what are you willing to do, and
And it's so funny because Poseidon basically he's had eyes on everything. He would know
Everything.
if she got contacted by Michael or
That's right.
anything. Like he was basically controlling
Yeah.
everything,
yeah,
and
Yeah.
they didn't
Yeah.
even know.
Yeah, I think you guys definitely did a really good job giving the fans what they wanted. Really, really good at that. For example, everybody's been asking about Sucre. In this episode, we actually got to see Sucre be a little bit of a badass.
yeah.
You know, which was really great because everybody's been like, "Where is Sucre? When is he coming back?"
He got to be the hero
Exactly. So
Yeah.
why did you make that choice in this episode?
because we wanted to give him something. Because we didn't get to use him for the whole season,
Exactly.
we wanted
Right.
to make sure that he plays a really important part in this episode
He
and in
always
the coming
comes through
episodes.
for Michael.
He
Always.
does, and
He
he's
always
that
comes through for
guy,
Michael.
and he's such, he's such comic relief, and he's just great.
Now that's interesting too. Are you guys going to mention what's going on with his because Sucre has a kid, and he also
Yeah.
I don't know if he still has the wife, or are we going to hear about that at all? Are they mentioning his backstory at all? I mean, I know,
You
like you
know-
said, there's not enough time.
Yeah, we talked about it on set,
Because I know I want to
Laurie
know
and I
what the
talked
hell
about it.
happened to her. Yeah.
and we did that. I think that was one of the
Mary,
things.
Mary Rosa, Mary.
Yeah.
God,
I think
so long ago.
I think in the original scene when we shot it at the card table in his room, there was some dialogue about it that we didn't end up using. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But the
Come to
fans,
think
well,
of
at
it.
least the fans know now that there was dialogue because they
Yeah.
want to know what is going
Yeah.
on with.
It's funny
the
when
families.
when you edit stuff, it becomes a choice, about what can you get
Yeah.
in. What,
Same with Lynx Girl. We don't know what
Yeah.
happened because at the end of
Yeah.
season 4, they're definitely together.
Yeah.
I'm so disappointed
I don't even hear a
in
mention of that now. But then you have him and
Well,
Sheba
I think
have like a little
Lincoln.
love thing
I think
going on.
Lincoln might say something about it when he first comes to visit Sarah.
I know he.
Oh,
got
did
He
he
back-
say
says
the little
something
thing,
about
like-
the dive shop, and then he. Interestingly, originally we were going to open on. Paul had us opening the first season or this season at like a dive shop in Florida in the Keys that he's
Where
running.
he'd be, yeah.
Yeah, and I think his girlfriend was there. And
Oh man! So she was
what-
actually on set and
Yeah.
actually filming a scene.
No, we had written it that
written
way.
Oh, you didn't just film it. Okay.
But what we realized was we weren't giving Lincoln, we weren't giving Dom enough of an arc over the course of the season.
Right.
Because he was like chilling in the Keys. Everything was
Right.
great. right? It was a little too good of a situation.
Yeah.
So then we changed it and created an arc for
Was
him.
it also done so you could kind of have a little love thing going between him and Sheba a little bit to get people
Definitely.
wondering?
Definitely.
Okay, cool.
Because
Yeah.
it kind of plays into the past seasons.
Yeah.
It's a girl that's helping them, and he always falls for them.
Yeah.
Always.
MJ, you love those soap operas, though. You love that this is happening.
Hey,
You
man,
love-
soap is
we
always
need some
good.
love.
No, he definitely, the thought was, by having the girl at the dive shop, it diluted
There's got to be a
the
single guy.
relationship
There's got to
with
be a
Sheba.
single guy.
So once we removed that, then it allowed him to really.
Because it kind of plays into the role where he said he got back into his old situation. So he's back into trouble, owing some people some money. And I think on the previews, the person that drove up to them, I'm thinking, well, my guess is that's the people that he owed money to. That's what I think. That's
Oh,
what
and
it
in the
appears.
preview for next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, who was that guy in the car? Did he have long hair?
That's what I'm saying.
That I
I
saw in
think
the
it's the
preview
people
for next
that
week?
he owes money gonna drive up and shoot. That's who I think are those people.
Vaughn's not going to tell us.
Interesting.
So this is where you tell us everything that happens in episode 8
My
and
lips
9.
are sealed.
I know.
Don't worry, your secret is safe with all of
Oh, I'm
us.
sure. Yeah. I'm sure it's gone on the internet. No one will know.
Nobody will know,
No
not
one
even
will
our
know.
live chatters. And speaking of live chatters, Amanda Capelli, she says, if we have a season 6, would we bring back some of the other characters back who weren't in this season? Are you going to bring back some people that we saw in the past 4 seasons?
I think if there is another season, yeah, I think we would then service Sucre. I think would definitely be back in a big way.
See, Vaughn's talking to me tonight because I love Sucre.
Yeah, we would build it out in a way that some of the characters
Yeah,
would come
'cause
back.
the
Certainly
guy that worked in the prison.
Bellic?
Yeah, Bellic.
Oh, yeah, I
And
love
he's
Bellic
back-
died,
he
though,
ended-
but I mean,
He died?
Bella died.
Yeah.
Mahone is one that
Mahone
the fans love.
They
Oh
want him
yeah,
back.
yeah.
William is Finkner. He's great.
Yeah.
And
It
it's
would be
funny
real.
that you mentioned Mahone because the fans are actually asking, are you trying to compare Jacob Ness's character to the evil Mahone?
No, not really. I think Jacob, serves his own. He has his own function within the story that's different. I don't
Evil
really
Mahone,
think
yeah.
of them. Yeah. I
There
don't
you go,
think of them the
guys.
same.
The weird thing about Bellic, though, just to bring up one more time, because I am a huge fan of that character. He was so bad at first, but he became a really a good person on the team.
Yeah.
And he even died saving the rest of the team so they could get that pipe across the. I mean, he got flushed away in the drain or whatever that scene was, but. It would be really interesting for season 6. I know because you're gonna write this. It's if he got washed away but never died, and he's deserted somewhere.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
So just think about that, Vaughn.
Oh yeah.
No problem.
It's in
You'll
there.
take it. I know.
We'll talk about
At
it.
It's in there.
this point, if I don't see the body, I'm not 100% sold.
Of course.
You never
that
know.
they're
No, no.
dead.
It's
You don't-
Prison Break.
Exactly.
I think in one of the
Listen.
seasons, her head was in a box,
Right.
right?
But, yeah.
And
Sarah's
Lincoln
head,
looked
yeah.
in the box, and
But it wasn't actually
Wasn't
Sarah's
her
head.
head.
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you write in that
yeah,
creepy
I
kiss thing, by the
remember
way, tonight with Jacob and Sarah, making him kiss her
I
after?
did. But Mark took it all the way.
Dude.
It was in
Mark
there,
did
but
take it all the way,
way
man.
he did it, and he just took his
Oh,
time, and
yeah.
he went in close,
'Cause
and
he
she
know-
had to
he knew
fully
she
like
knew.
deal with it. Yeah, it was really great.
He did a
Yeah.
really good job with it. He's
Yeah.
on what show is he on? It's like
Well,
on
he's-
TBS or TNT or
he
one of
did
those.
Royal Pains for
Royal
7
Pains.
years.
Thank you. It's
Yeah.
on USA actually. That's what it was. on.
Yes,
USA.
He
yeah.
did that I think for
Royal
7
Pains.
seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
That's
great.
where I remember him from. Yeah.
But he fully leaned into that kiss.
Yeah.
Smarmy, creepy. He fully went for it. And Sarah, I don't know if Sarah knew he was going to go full bore like that, and so you get a really great
Natural
reaction. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's so good.
And they thought, well, I don't know which one of y'all thought Heather was a part in with.
Yeah, we did. We thought that the best friend, that
We
there was
talked
a
about
chance.
it. We talked about it. We talked about it. We thought, nah, it's too close.
It's just
Oh,
too close.
People will.
'Cause I just-
It'll be too small world.
I just
It'll
felt
be-
it. I felt like she was going to be taking him back to the house where
Yeah.
Jacob was. I was like, okay, well, what if this is happening? But when we saw Van Gogh and he had the gun pointed at Heather, I was like, okay, well, she has nothing to do
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah.
I kept poking Candy because Candy's been on this Heather thing of her being the bad guy
I
for a while
was.
now.
We talked
And I kept
about
saying,
it.
this is it. It's gonna happen right now. But then Van Gogh
We
was in the
talked
house.
about it.
That would be another slap in the face for Sarah.
Yeah. It would be. It almost felt like there was too many
much.
pieces
Too many,
around.
yeah.
We would have still liked it though. We'd be like, all right. Just give it to Sarah. Has everything. Just have. I mean, she jumped in trash this season
She
at one point to get
really-
away. I mean,
yeah. She's gone through hell.
She has.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
in all these years, everything's from when she worked at the prison and was and unlocked that door for Michael.
Yep.
And then she thinks she's gonna get remarried and have a nice life. Nope, Jacob's screwing her over too.
Yeah. That's the price you pay for true love.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
And if
Right.
she just never unlocked that door, none of this would
None of
ever
this would
happen.
ever happen.
Which is crazy. Which is crazy. You should tell her that next time you see her. Hey, Sarah, by the way, your character. But then again, she wouldn't even be in the episode. So actually, good for you,
No,
Sarah.
it is
Right.
funny that it's, yeah.
Started from unlocking.
She's gone through a lot.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
has.
Now, before we get into predictions, guys, we have to go back to the question of the person who Poseidon called for the ask. Now, this guy is so powerful that he had the ability to blow up the ship.
Mm-hmm.
So
With
can
one
you-
phone call.
With
Yeah.
one phone call. So can you give us just something? Just give us something that nobody else has that we can look forward to for the next few episodes.
Well, I can tell you that the idea behind Poseidon is that the reason they could never find him, they could never figure out who he was he was this single kind of entity functioning within the government, within the CIA, who had a number of big-time connections, who kind of had the same worldview as he does, which is the American government's not doing it, we're going to do it. And so that is part of his world, Poseidon's
Wow.
world. But we talked a lot about who that is, and I know who that is. But
Yeah. Can we
I
have
can't
the
tell you who
fans
that
write
is.
in who they think it is, just so we get a couple
Yes.
fun answers? Let's do
Are we
that.
gonna find out who it is though?
we'll see.
Oh.
What if it's the president of the United States?
That would be big.
That-
That would be big.
but I mean, if we don't find out who it is, in theory, if you want to leave that open for a season 6, it's like, well, we don't even know if they want to come on to do season. It's like I feel like they're gonna have to wrap up everything at the end of 9 because they don't know if they can even get everyone back.
Right.
Vaughn's giving it away.
No.
There's so
I
much
don't
that
think
needs
it-
to be revealed. There has to be a season 6.
It
Oh,
has
if
to
there's
be
a will, there's. I mean, it'll
happen.
Oh yeah.
It
Yeah.
has to be a
The
cliffhanger
actors, I
on
mean, they
this
want to do
episode.
it.
I
So
mean,
I think
yeah.
if
and
Fox,
there's the people want to watch it.
Totally.
They'll watch another season. They'll keep
totally,
watching this.
yeah.
So, oh yeah.
And it, you know, it sells all over the world. It's a huge show all over the world.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love if season 6 was like all back in the United States. I loved in season 4. I mean, they were just running around all the different parts of the United
Yeah.
States trying to do it.
Yeah.
I just thought it was just a little more. I could relate to it more
Yeah.
because I've never been to.
Yeah.
Well, you guys shot in Morocco, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't take place there, obviously.
No, it's
But like
supposed
it
to
was
be,
harder for me to be like, well, where the heck are they again? Oh yeah, they're over. Oh yeah, that's where they are. Where it's
Yeah.
like, oh, they're in New York right now. Like I liked when they went to Portland, Maine. I was like, why would
Yeah.
Elvis be? I love that. Oh, sure, of course Elvis is in Portland, Maine.
Yeah.
That's where he's not dead. Elvis never died. He just resides in Portland, Maine now.
Portland,
Maine.
I just
Yeah.
love that about it.
Yeah, that was. I love that character. That was a Paul. That was a Paul creation.
So we're gonna see a lot more of him in episodes 8 and 9. Huh?
Where he's coming back. Elvis is not dead.
Elvis is not.
That's who.
dead.
That's anyone writing that they called Elvis. That's who Jacob called because I'm thinking that's who they called.
Everyone they kept.
They called Elvis. He called
some people
Elvis.
are saying they hope it's not the general.
Okay, that's because that's who I.
Was
picked.
that's from
That's
season
the
4.
guy with
Yeah,
the
they
bald guy,
said
the
the
general from the
general,
company.
Kellerman.
Kellerman.
Could,
they said-
yeah, because I think Kellerman's alive, and I've been saying that since he
But I
died.
think Kellerman is on Michael's side.
But you know what? No, because Kellerman has been a bad guy consistently
But
for
he
the past few
changed.
seasons, and they
He
would
did
they
change
would
at the
lead,
end of
change.
lead
season
us
4.
to
Yeah.
believe
He gave him their freedom at the
that
end of season
he's
4.
changed, but why? Like, it would just make sense to me if Kellerman is the guy that they're calling. It would make sense to me.
There you go.
It's
think
all
so.
up in the
I
air.
don't
It's great. All right, let's do some predictions. How about that? That'll be
Yes,
fun. We'll go
yes,
around the room, and
predictions.
Vaughn's gonna give us great predictions too.
Vaughn, would you like to go first, Vaughn?
Predictions.
Yes.
I predict that Sarah and Michael will spend some more time together.
Oh. Well,
That's my
they want to
prediction.
hear that. They want to hear it.
That's my prediction.
Any other predictions, Vaughn?
No.
Well, that's but that's a good. That is in theory a good prediction because they're separated right now. So Vaughn just gave way. They're gonna reunite again.
Something's
Is there
coming.
going to be a little hanky panky?
Yeah, there is a little hanky panky, I think.
Ooh, everybody
right.
loves hanky panky.
More hanky or more panky? That's what they really want to know.
So what's your prediction?
Oh my gosh. Let me see. What is my prediction? My prediction is that Sucre is going to add a little more badassness in the
Okay.
next episode. We're
Okay.
going to get to see him do a little more badass stuff. My prediction is that Sarah is going to put some type of hurting on Jacob. I see she's got her gun. She's ready.
Yep.
And I feel like there's going to be a really, really nice showdown between Michael and Jacob. Like, I'm hoping and I'm looking forward to potentially that happening.
All right. Okay, go ahead, Jay.
My prediction is that when I finally make it back to the States, I feel like T-Bag is gonna be helping them when they get back to the States, and whoever, Lincoln, whoever Lincoln owes money to, they're gonna find wherever he's at, and this the person is gonna shoot at him in the car. This would look like on the previews.
This is super random, but in that preview for the next episode, we see T-Bag and I think Whip almost go at it. So that, I don't know how they would even know each other. That's interesting.
I don't know. We keep finding out stuff every time.
And speaking of Whip, Whip has questions that he wants answers to.
What do you,
And I want to see if he's able to.
Well,
get
he's
some
been
of those
after
questions.
Michael all season, right?
for
Exactly.
why am I your whip hand?
Exactly.
Well, yeah, like what is the deal with that?
What is the
I really
deal?
appreciate how you really
'Cause he
rounded
doesn't-
out Whip's character throughout the season too. Because at first he
Absolutely.
was so like I didn't really know if I was going to even like him. Like, I'm like, is there enough depth to him? But now he's starting to really come into his own. And he questions in this episode. He's like, Michael's been the closest thing to a brother that I've had in the last 4 years. Because
He
that's
really
what
reveals.
they've been, you know. And now, but
Yeah.
now he feels like he's being pushed away because of. You know,
Lincoln.
Link, but now it's like kind of like all three brothers, like Dom accepted him into the family. I thought that was a really nice touch you did there,
Thanks, man.
because Whip is like I mean, Ja gets he's done.
Yeah.
The Sid, he's
Yeah,
done.
he-
It kind of
he
like
had it
slowly
bad.
but surely they all
Yeah.
started teetering off. I was like, is Whip next? But it looks like he's going to be the one.
I
that gets
really,
stick around.
Whip is a character that I was when I read the Bible originally. He just really popped for me, and
Yeah.
I think Augie did a really nice job, portraying him.
Yeah, we're trying to get him on the show next week. If you, got
Are
any,
you?
we'd love. I've been trying to contact him for the last 3 weeks. So if you have any connections
Oh,
with,
I'll shoot him. I'll shoot him.
I would love that. And then
yeah.
you have my Twitter. Just have him hit me up on my Twitter. I
I'll
would
do
love
that.
And we'd
We'll
love to
do
have him
that.
on for sure.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
we
we'll
actually
do that.
just got
He's
a
in
really
LA.
good
I'm sorry.
question.
He's in
Yeah,
LA?
he's in LA. I think he's in LA.
Okay.
Yeah, we actually just got a really good question from one of our live chatters. They want to know, is Whip somehow related to T-Bag?
No, I wouldn't put
I
those
don't-
two
I don't
together.
know
Yeah,
where that-
that is like really
Yeah.
random.
I mean, all we see in the previews, them butting heads. I don't see why that would mean
Yeah.
they're related.
I don't
That
know.
seems-
Like what type of, I guess, what kind of a, relationship can we see happening between them? Are they going to fight? Are they going to bump heads?
Well, they're both like alley cats, right?
Yeah.
So I can't imagine those two really getting along.
We never found out who, or did we find out who gave T-Bag his hand? Was it Jacob?
No, we haven't found
We haven't
that
found that
out
out
yet.
yet. Okay.
We haven't found that
That's
out
interesting.
yet. Yeah.
Do we find out before the end of this season?
We do.
That's awesome.
We do.
That's going to be really
Yeah,
fun.
most everything is we tied everything up, and the
Just in case you can't do season 6,
you
we had
do,
to.
you do learn. You have the big questions answered, and also, I think that what is the big reveal in 9 is going to blow people's minds.
That's what A&W said. She said, I wish I could see your reaction when you watch 9 Guys. That's what she said to us
Yes.
when she was here.
It's one of those really prison breaky surprises that it's really satisfying and it's really smart.
Who wrote that?
Paul did.
Paul did.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's another question that they keep asking me to ask. Ivan wants to know, Vaughn, will we see Mike show his father's ability soon?
Oh, that's interesting.
Mike's ability, like his
Well,
smarts.
Will Mike show his father's ability soon?
We almost see it with the
interestingly-
drawing tonight a little bit. Like, he's such a good drawer. Not that means he's...
Interestingly, yeah, we do kind of see that. And it's done in an interesting way. So
Cool.
I think that person will be
Ivan Soto.
Ivan will be satisfied.
Oh,
Ivan, you will be
interesting.
satisfied.
Ivan's going to love that you gave him a shout out because he's with us every week, Vaughn.
Oh,
Yes,
is he?
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Ivan
Every
Soto,
week.
if you want to shout him out again.
Hey, Ivan, how you doing? Thank you for watching.
So what's your prediction?
Oh, my goodness. Well, Kellerman's still alive, and he's going to come back, and he's going to do something Kellerman-like, which by me saying that, could be anything, because he does so many good and bad things.
He's unkillable.
He's apparently...
The man is like, you can't put him down.
I want to see more Sucre, but... yeah, oh, God, you put me on the spot. I had so many, but then we got sidetracked, so I forget. But the main thing is that Kellerman's still alive, and I think that that's going to be really interesting to see.
Yeah.
Oh, and I think something really cool is going to happen with A&W. Either like Candy said, she kills Van Gogh, or she joins Michael's side. But
Or what if she kills Poseidon?
oh, that's what I was gonna say.
Bam.
Okay.
Bam!
I was gonna say because Sarah killed Michael's mom, that now Michael would kill Poseidon because as like a kind of a, I got your back, you got mine type situation. But
Never know.
We never know. It is very satisfying, I have to say.
we're
Wow.
with only 2 more weeks left.
Really?
I feel like even episode 8 is gonna be really satisfying. There's gonna be a lot answered there too.
We really, yeah. I mean, these episodes were huge episodes.
These last
we must
3
have been out of our
episodes.
minds, because just from a production standpoint, they were giant. I mean, if you just think about 7, what went
Yeah.
on in this episode, or 6, when they were crossing the desert and doing that whole
Yeah.
thing. I mean, they were big episodes.
You originally had 10 episodes, like you said, right? So
Yeah.
you had to push that 10 and make it into 9 somehow.
Yeah.
So is that another reason why it's just so?
I think so, but also, the Bible, thinned out a little bit at the end, so it wasn't that hard to do. But what it did do was it really increased. It became like, what is it all? It's all killer, no filler. Like it really did make every episode so kind of
Jam-packed.
jam-packed and really exciting and like a bullet. Like the season's really exciting in terms of pacing and reveals and turns and twists, and then slow down for some characters, then back. It's got a nice, Paul did a great job kind of designing it.
This
Yes.
episode definitely had the most stuff in it, I think. Personally,
Yeah,
I was like,
absolutely.
oh my god, what's happening next? You couldn't-
Yeah.
Definitely.
Let's
I
do
agree.
last thoughts. We'll go around. Candy, you want to start with you?
I am just honored to sit
Awesome.
next to you today. It's
Oh,
been an
thank
absolute
you.
pleasure having you
Thank
on the
you.
show.
That's
Thank you
sweet.
so
Thank
much.
you.
MJ.
I'm just next week episode looked good. Tonight's episode was the best episode yet to me, and I feel like next week's just gonna be even better.
Oh,
honestly.
that's great.
Yeah, and Vaughn, I want to thank you for being on with us. It's been great.
Oh,
I
thanks for having
love
me.
hearing what happens behind the scenes, especially we've heard it from actors and actresses when they've been on, but we've never had a writer and executive producer on with us for this show.
Thank you.
Oh, that's
so
great.
it's not only the perspective of the actor, it's like a whole different perspective, but it's still
Yeah.
behind the scenes. I think that's great.
And I spent a lot of time on set. So
Right,
I was
which
there
is-
for all that stuff, which was great.
Very
I mean,
nice.
to see, Marina's so good, and the actors it's an amazing group.
Yeah. And they all say such kind things about you via
yeah.
Twitter, and even tonight, Marina jumped right in and
Absolutely.
said, so
Absolutely.
Very
They're
sweet.
definitely supporting. We've got a lot of people supporting, and we want you guys to come back next week as we gear in and get closer and closer to the final episode of Prison Break.
Yes, and please, if you want to watch it again on YouTube tomorrow, leave us a nice comment or something
Please
fun.
tell us what you think and show our guests here some love.
Definitely. All right, thank you guys so much for watching Prison Break. My name again is Daniel Lindgren. You can follow me at the Dan Lindgren on Instagram and Twitter, also at Booyah Vision on YouTube.
And I'm MJ. You can follow me on Instagram at MJ, that media girl. Girl, what are you?
Yes, guys, and it's always a pleasure. I am Miss Candy Marie, and you can find me on Instagram at Miss Candy Marie and on Twitter at Sweet Kendora TV.
Hey guys, I'm Vaughn. You can find me on @VaughnWilmot on Twitter, and thank you for watching Prison Break.
All right, Prison Break panel out. Thank you guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.